welcome you to the 8th lecture of surface mining technology. This is the third lecture in the phases of surface mining. We are continuing the introduction to surface mining, and as the requirement, let us give a glimpse of the learning background for the surface mining technology. Then the learning objective of the course surface mining technology, and this is the learning outcomes we are expecting from the participants who are undergoing to this surface mining technology course. And these are the reference and textbooks. And now let us retrospect the previous lectures. In previous lecture, we have covered the phases of mining. We have covered the phases of mining up to the mining phase end. We have already discussed that what are the exploration phase. We have carried out geophysical prospecting, we have carried out then the geological prospecting, and after that we go for the geological exploration, in which we take the core drilling, take out the core, we analyze the grade of the deposit at different position. Then we by getting those grade of the deposit at different position, we distribute the grade in situ with some mathematical techniques, and then from there we have come out with the positioning of the deposit inside the rock mass, and for identifying this one we go for block modeling system. After this deposit is established through this block modeling and grade distribution system, the mining people they understood the distribution of the deposit inside the rock mass. Then they first do the feasibility analysis of the deposit. So, they come out with the decision that the economically the mining of this deposit is acceptable, and this is the capital requirement, this is the money flow, this is the profit if the mining is carried out in this deposit. And when the financial appraisal of the mining is accepted by the management, accepted by the financing authority, then the detailed technical report is made for carrying out mining. In the detailed technical report, the different phases of mines, how the mining will be carried out, from where it will start, then how the mining will be extended, what are the machines will be deployed, how the machines will be phases out, how the mining position will be changed from the time to time. All these are in detailed noted, detailed planned, and accordingly it is designed. Then the actual mining is, when the detailed project report is made, then the actual mining is carried out by the deployment of the machines. Then the mining is carried out as per the detailed project report is mentioned, and gradually the mining is carried out till the last tonnage of the ore are basically excavated. So, this is discussed in the previous lectures. Previous lecture we have seen the different mining machineries, those who are possible to use in a mining system. It is not required that all the machines are required at a time, or in any mining you will see all those machines, but as per your designing, some of the machines will be available in some mining sector. So, the objective of this lecture is to discuss about the post mining, how we will carry out the closing of the mines, and what are the different mining system. That means, we have already seen the different machineries, but at a time we are not these machines are used, these machines are not possible to combine with each other. So, some combinations of machines are used in some mine, some other combinations are used in some other mine. So, these combinations of the machines are we will discuss in this lecture. So, first we will discuss the post closing operations, then we will see the mining systems. So, this is the generalized phases, exploration phases, mining phases we have discussed. Then the phase wise closure of the mine. So, phase wise closure means we have to close the mine, there are some important aspect or some inner thought is required here. What is that inner thought? The inner thought is that currently a mining is going on, at this place, or you can say this is the area. Let us go for a, we are having some township here at this position, and we have carried out a mining, at this position. So, all these workers or the people, either they are directly working here or indirectly opening some shop etc., at this position, and they are having their livelihood related to this mine. So, whenever we are withdrawing a mine or closing a mine, then we have to think of the rehabilitation of them. Before the mining, the place was maybe having some forest or maybe some abundant area, or sometimes there is a township, or sometimes there is the agriculture fields. So, when we have completed the mining, we cannot leave a big hole in that area and remain the area like this. So, either we have to go for revegetation or reconstruction. So, all these are required to be carried out at this place, and finally, which is the requirement is the sustainability of the same. That means, we have to develop a ecosystem at this area, so that that can be self sustained, that will not create any environmental hazard, that will not create any safety hazard, and that will be fruitful to the society. So, that is the essential requirement, and when a mine has to be closed, one mining company need to have some inner thought related to this. It is not that you have to fill back the mine always, but some constructive thinking, some new thinking, some inner thought thinking is required, which will give the sustainable closing of the area, and that is sustainable means it is technically sustainable, it is economically sustainable, and it is environmentally sustainable. So, that is essentially required while we are thinking of closing a mine. So, this is very very important, and phase wise closing of the mine must be carried out. You can see this is the two photographs we are showing here. This is a beautiful vegetation is created here. This is how the dump area is being maintained, is managed using the different plantation system. And finally, the closing has to be carried out. This final closing means we have to ceasing all the mining activity. Socio-economically, the final closing has to be carried out, and self sustained post closure land use has to be made. So, this part what we are discussing is very very important, that final closing means we are withdrawing everything related to mining operations. We cannot leave a structure like this. This is probably a plant structure, but we cannot leave a structure like this. So, we have to demolish this structure because it will pose a danger to this. In the final closing, we have to demolish this structure. We have to withdraw each and every structures, machines, and whatever is there related to mining, that has to be withdrawn first. Okay. So, that is ceasing of all mining activities and withdrawing of all the mining related equipments and structures must be there. It is not that if you are having a housing colony, you have to demolish that one. If the housing colony is in good condition, that can be handed over to the local administration for the further future use, that can be a option. But those who are dangerous structures, that has to be demolished, that has to be withdrawn. Then the socio-economic final closing is very very important, which I have discussed in the last slide also. The local people, we have uplifted their lifestyle, we have given some job opportunities, some other employments are there, and that socio-economic closing means we have to give some source of sustainability to this community, so that the mining can be withdrawn, which is a positive way. Say suppose there is a village, during the mining this is their lifestyle is uplifted, they are now habituated with the televisions, they are now habituated with the smartphones. That much economic and social growth to the society has to be maintained in the post mining also, and that is why in the post mining land should be used in a positive way, in some sustainable growth way, so that after the mining also the similar lifestyle can be maintained. And that is why self sustained post closure land use is also very important for sustainability of the whole thing. So, I have already mentioned that sustainability means it is technically sustainable. Technically sustainable means if you are looking at this picture or maybe in this picture, this will not pose any danger, it will not be fall down, it will not create any safety hazard. So, that is a technical closing. Environmental closing means it will not generating any pollutant, it is not generating any adverse effect on the local environment. And finally, the economic one means the economic sustainability should be there, so that it is self sustained, whatever the output is coming or income is going on, the expenditures from that income can be maintained. So, that is the economic sustainability of the post closure land use. This is a very good example of the post closure land use. This is a proposed hotel, a mining is converted to a hotel. Post mining, the hotel is created at this position, and with the recreation it is a self sustained post closure example of self sustained post closure mine use. These are the different final closing or abandonment of the mine. You can see in this picture the mining is converted into a water resource. This is a mine, you can see in 1979, this is the situation of the mine. This is in 2000, the mine is properly maintained with a slope and acting as a water reservoir. So, this is acting as a water reservoir here. This is converted to a beautiful spot, tourist spot, converted to a beautiful tourist spot. You can see these are the overburden dumps, how the dump area is vegetated and recreated. So, it is acting as a very good recreation center here. So, these are the different examples of the closing of the mines. Different utilizations are possible with different mining. In fact, in India also some of the Tata Steel mines are converted to a plantation park for the that with economic plantations, those things are converted beautifully for the mining, post mining land use. Now, let us look into the mining system. Surface mining system is broadly classified in three groups: continuous mining system, semi-continuous mining system and discrete mining system. So, continuous mining system is basically a mining system where continuous excavation plus continuous transportation is carried out. So, that means the material excavation and material flow is continuous in this system. So, here the mechanization is made such a way so that the continuous mining can be carried out. The benefit of the continuous mining is that the production rate will be very high. You will obtain a very high production rate, and your productivity is also very high, because your manpower requirement is less. So, this continuous mining system is always very productive, highly productive, highly the low manpower requirements are there, but it also demands a very high investment as the capital cost. So, initial capital requirement is high, but the operating cost is less. So, production rate is high, and that is why it is giving the maximum profit. So, when whatever you will find out those deep mines etcetera, they in general opt for the continuous mining system. So, that the increased production rate will fetch them the low operating cost. So, that is why that is benefit to them, and they go for the continuous mining system. If you are looking at the discrete mining system, in discrete mining system we go for different unit operations separately. So, you can carry out drilling separately, blasting separately, loading separately, transportation separately. These things are not dependent to each other. So, stoppage in one does not hampering the performance of another one. So, that is why both all these are independent, and that can be made very easily. This is the benefit of the discrete system, but as different unit operations are carried out differently, that is why its production rate is less and its manpower requirement is high. But in this case, the stoppage, as it is a continuous process, stoppage of one is basically hampering the operation of another also. So, that is the disadvantage in the continuous system. So, to take the advantage and disadvantage, the in between system is made, that is called semi continuous system, where either we are having a continuous excavation system and discrete loading transportation system, or we are having discrete excavation system, then continuous loading and transportation system. So, this is the two option available in this case. So, it is basically a compromising between the continuous and discrete system, so that the advantage of both can be maintained. Now, you can see what are the possible continuous mining system we are having. We are having possible mining system, excavation system, it is the bucket wheel excavator, which is very commonly used as the continuous mining system. We are having continuous transportation system, that is the conveyor etcetera can be used as the continuous transportation system. This is, you can see a video of the continuous mining system. So, in this video you can see this continuous excavation is carried out, and this in continuous excavation the material is transported into the conveyor. From this conveyor the material is dumped to the conveyor, shiftable conveyor, which is placed here, and the shiftable conveyor is basically taking the material. So, excavation is carried out continuously at this place, the material is taken out and the material is dumped into the conveyor continuously. So, excavation is continuous, transportation system is continuous. So, that is why this system can be considered as the continuous mining system, and you easily understand that the moment is this bucket wheel will stop, the continuous excavation will stop, means you will not find any transportation of the material, because the material will also stopped at this position. So, you will not find the transportation. So, the stopping of the excavation will also stop the transportation. So, that is the drawback of the continuous mining system, and that is why this is the continuous mining system should have a continuous excavation and should have a continuous transportation system. Now, let us see the semi-continuous mining system. In semi-continuous mining system, we can have we can have continuous excavation system, and along with that we can have discrete loading and transportation system. So, you can see in this case a continuous miner, the surface miner is excavating the rock continuously, but this miner is dumping the material on a dumper. So, dumper is a discrete transportation system. So, that dumper is taking out the material in a discrete way. Similarly, the bucket wheel excavator can also dump onto the dumper. So, this is a continuous example of continuous mechanized excavation, but discrete material transport system. Alternately, we can have the alternate system here, in which we can continuously transport the material using a conveyor or slurry transportation system, but in that case we are having discrete drilling blasting excavation system, and that is then the continuous transportation is carried out. So, you can see what the example is there, the material is blasted at this position, then the blasted material is taken by the shovel, drilling and blasting is carried out. You can see this is the drilling carried out, blasting carried out. So, after drilling and blasting, whatever material is there, that is taken by an excavator, and the excavator is dumping the material on a mobile crusher. So, the sizing is carried out using this mobile crusher, and this mobile crusher is fragmenting the rock or sizing the rock in a smaller size. The all this continuous transportation system which we are using is mainly conveyor or slurry transportation system. So, this both transportation system demands the sized material, smaller size material, sized material. So, that is carried out by a crushing system here, and the mobile crusher is discharging the material onto the conveyor system, then the conveyor system is gradually transferring this one. So, this is another example of that one, where the mobile crusher is basically, this is the mobile crusher is basically transporting the material to the conveyor. So, this is the semi continuous system. So, this is one example of this one. Let us watch this video. You can see a continuous a surface miner is cutting the material and it is dumping onto the truck. So, the truck is being loaded with the boom, conveyor boom attached with the surface miner, and you see the next dumper is standing in the side. So, whenever this excavation will be complete, this excavation of the this is a limestone quarry, this excavation of this will complete, the second dumper will come and that will replace this dumper. So, you can see the first dumper is filled and the next dumper is coming. See, this next dumper has come. So, now surface miners will start loading onto this dumper. So, surface miner again starts its excavation and dumping the material onto the dumper. So, here the continuous excavation is going on and the discrete transportation system is made. In the other case, you can have a excavation. This is the where discrete excavation, you can have a blasting, you can carry out the blasting. This is the video of a big blast. So, you can blast the after drilling, you can blast and then so you can see this is the mobile crusher, this is a animated video. So, this mobile crusher is moving and this is the mobile transport conveyor, this is the shiftable conveyor. So, this mobile transport conveyor and this is the excavator. So, these three are moving simultaneously. So, this is the excavator which is excavating the material, dumping it onto the mobile crusher. So, when the material is dumped onto the mobile crusher, the mobile crusher sized it, then dump it into the conveyor. You see the excavator has taken it out, dumped the material in the mobile crusher, then mobile crusher is sending the sized material to the conveyor, then conveyor continuously transport the material through the mobile transport conveyor and shiftable belt conveyor. So, this is a animated video showing the semi continuous excavation scheme of the mining system. And finally, the discrete system. In the discrete system, you can see the you have to carry out drilling, blasting separately. In this picture, one by one these are showing. This is the drilling. In drilling, you are basically creating the hole in creates so that you can place the explosive inside the rock mass, and as you have placed the explosive inside the rock mass, when the explosive is loaded, that is fragmenting the rock. So, this is the blasting carried out. In blasting, you are fragmenting the rock. The rocks are fragmented in a smaller size. So, this is here the rocks are fragmented in a smaller size. So, after blasting, a small fragmented rock, smaller size fragmented rocks are piled at this position. Then we send our excavator, so that this fragmented rock can be taken into the bucket of the excavator, and that will dump it onto the dumper. And there will be a series of dumper, that will basically take this material to our destination, either a crusher plant or the railway siding. So, this is a common discrete mining system which is used. So, let us see the video of the mining system. You can see this is the drill machines. This is the excavator. So, drill machines has already drilled in that area, and this has to be blasted, this area. So, this complete area is drilled by this drilling machine. So, this is the blasting carried out. So, after drilling, explosives are placed, then the blasting carried out. And see, after the blasting is carried out, we send our excavator. So, now the excavator is taking out the material. You see in the back side we have deployed a dozer also, so that the fragmented rock pieces can be gathered to make a heap of rock, and the excavator can have a better filling of the bucket if the rock is placed in a heap. So, it has filled its bucket. Now, see your dumper has come. So, excavator is now dumping the material in the pan of the dumper. So, this is discrete loading and transportation system. You can see another dumper is standing in the side. So, that after filling of this dumper, that dumper can be placed to take the next load. So, this is the final load is given to the dumper. So, that dumper has moved out, the new dumper has come at this place again. So, this is the loading and discrete mining system you can see in this slide. So, this is the details of the mining system, continuous mining system, semi continuous mining system and discrete mining system. This is the how the mining is carried out, that is the different combinations of machines, the details are discussed in this place. So, this is the end of the phases of mining systems, phases of surface mining and the mining systems. Thank you.